what does that mean? If you're like me, the first time I heard that, it sounds like snoring to me. But when you break it down, the world of 3D printers is pretty legit. You can do a lot of cool stuff. There are many various types of 3D printers, and in the next couple of minutes, we're going to break it down to 3. For the past 19 months, I've been employed in IR, or the National Institute for Aviation Research, and while there, for 14 months, I've worked in the reverse engineering lab, which has given me access and training to these 3 various types of 3D printers. The 3 that we're going to look at first are filament printers, resin printers, and metal printers, or metal powder printers. First, starting off with filament printers, we're going to break it down into the printer itself and then the kind of printing process. The first things that come, the 2 main things that come with the printer itself are the size and the chamber. Size is a big aspect. Yeah, stupid joke. Okay. But printers can come, filament printers can come in all different sizes. From an 18-inch cube that can fit on this desk to a 9 by 5 by 6.5 foot giant that can print quite a bit. The main reason of this is because of the chamber. Heated chambers and open chambers. Heated chambers allow for the extruded material to bond together better, while as the open chambers just kind of lay it down. As you can assume, the heated chambers are going to be a lot bigger, a lot more expensive. With that being said, for the filament printers, let's move on to the different types of material that can be used. These printers use a filament, or a thin plastic cord-like material that can range from one side spectrum to the other. As Stratasys puts it, they have materials that can withstand up to 500 degrees Celsius, which is really hot, to printers or to types of material that can be used in surgeries and that are medical grade. At NIR, we work with both of these on a daily basis. The next part of this of the printing process is the tips that are used. Tips are interchangeable and come in different sizes. What the different sizes allow you to do is gauge for the thickness of each layer, and that also states the accuracy. As you can see right here, this is a 3D printed part. If you look at the holes, it's kind of bad because the printer messed up. But since this is a filament printer and it's layers, if you hear that sound, that's my finger rubbing over each layer. So that's what comes with these filament printers. So yeah. So now that we've looked at filament printers, let's move on to the resin printers. So again, with this, we're going to break it down into the printer itself and then how the process of prints. The size of resin printers is usually roughly about the same. They're all usually about the same size, and they're range from about the size of this desk to maybe a couple feet on each side bigger. The reason for this is the computing equipment. For some reason, companies have put so much computing equipment into this because they have to be so much more accurate and because they use a resin or liquid. They're also roughly the same because while they're all closed chambered, unlike some of the filament printers, but they're not heated. As you can understand, if you have a liquid plastic and you dry it and you heat it back up, it's probably going to turn back to liquid. That could be an issue. Moving on, the main difference between resin printers and filament printers is the resin, which is a plastic liquid type material that is pumped through tubes and then sprays out the nozzles onto the build tray. On each side of the head, as it passes over, it is cured by UV lights. If you kind of understand it, a resin printer is just like a paper printer on steroids. It just goes back and forth, spraying material down. Because of this, it allows for a lot more accuracy. As Stratasys says, it's up to within 16 micrometers, which in comparison is about twice the size of a red blood cell. That's at least what New York State Department of Health says is the size of a blood cell. Materials can range from a bunch of different ones. They can have some high temp ones that go up to about 150 Celsius. They also have materials that can, when cured, is almost like a soft rubber. With that being said for the resin printers, let's move on to our next printer, the metal printer, my personal favorite. Unlike other printers, metal printers range from large to very, very, very large. This is due to two main reasons. The first reason is metal printers are required to be extremely hot, as you have to melt given metals to the temperature so that it bonds properly. The other reason is because of the hazards included with this printing. As my boss and our employee states, there's a lot of hazards that come when you're printing with a powder that's extremely fine, finer than the smallest grain of sand that you've ever seen. The materials that can be used are aluminum, stainless steel, and titanium, which is highly combustible in a powder form, which I did not know that. The best part of this printer is it uses a freaking laser. I mean, come on. As EOS states, it uses a 400-watt laser that melts it on contact and bonds it to itself. Once the first layer is done, it brings out an arm that covers over the next one, and it goes back over. So looking back over this speech, I've covered the three main printers: filament, uses a plastic cord; resin, that uses a liquid, much more accurate; and metal, which is just plain awesome. With that being said, I hope you learned some cool facts about 3D printers, and if you'd like to learn more, come out to NIAR. We don't bite much. So thank you.